live. How are you? Get those cameras on. Everything is good. Great. All right. Awesome. So, cameras, everyone. Joel, cameras. Denise, I can barely see you. We got Tina. Hi. You decided to take a day off? Got Ahmed, Ed, Brandon, Lula, Celine. Okay, cool. Celine, you're done with laundry? I know yesterday was a lot of it. Oh, okay. Well, I hope he gets better quick. All right, real quick, we're going to go over a few things. There's a few questions already here. All right. Brian, I answered yours. I'm going to skip right now. I answered yours already about the exam. Let me know if you got it. Tina, how do I use Quizlet? You said you couldn't get in, meaning were you there before, or it's the first time you're getting into it? First time. We're like on chapter 18, and it's the first time. Oh, that's so cool. All right, I want glasses like that, upside down glasses. All right, so first time, right? So let me see. You showed up here. Nope. Tina. No, I don't have you here. So if you follow the link that's on the website, it should take you there. I'm also going to write it down here real quick. That's okay. The direction. All right, so I just sent you the link. Click on it. That's to Quizlet. Click on it, and it should automatically accept you, okay? If it doesn't, then let me know. Also, if you, just as a quick reminder, if you log in to Quizlet, let's say the first time you did it was using your Facebook authentication, right? Then every time you access the app has to be with Facebook authentication. If you're not logged in, you will not have access to Quizlet at all. I mean, at least to my Quizlet. It has to be authenticated. All right, next. There were a few questions. Let's see what we got. All right, so Mr. Madur, Equal Credit Opportunity Acts requires lenders to A, extend equal credit to all prospective borrowers, consider the time of a spouse in evaluating a family's creditworthiness, discount the income of a person involved in childbearing, or specialized lending activity by geographic area for improved customer service. The answer says it's B, consider the income of a spouse in evaluating family creditworthiness. All right. Okay. Let me ask you. Just let's go by logic, okay? Because that's the way I like to work with the answers. You probably thought A, correct? Extend equal credit? Right, correct. Do I have to? Or do you have to be qualified? Because look what it says. extend equal credit to all prospective borrowers. If you're a prospect, right, you're not qualified yet. You apply for credit and boom, I have to give you credit. No. So we have to consider income. That's the only logical thing here. We have to consider income. Here it talks about discounting income. Here it talks about specializing in a particular geographic area, and that would be similar to redlining, okay, which is illegal. I'm going to go over it. So out of these answers, this one, it made. Remember, I said that sometimes your brain picks up things and says, "Oh, this is the answer." Right? What made logic here for you to answer A, if that was what you were going to answer, what made logic is because we're talking about the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, and then you see, oh, equal credit, that's the answer. No, because I don't have to extend credit, does not require me, I don't have to approve you, right, to all prospective borrowers. Okay? If it's said to all qualified borrowers, regardless of their race, color, religion, national origin, or anything like that, now that's a different story. If it's said to all qualified borrowers, regardless of their race, gender, religion, and so on, now that A would be the answer. Because it talks about all prospective borrowers, that means every time anybody applies, boom, you're approved. I have to extend equal credit. No, right? But if we're talking about a family purchase, I need to consider the income of a spouse to figure out also their credit worthiness. So this would be the factor under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act or any Credit Opportunity Act. So pretty much none of these answers really have to do with discrimination. None of the answers. You just fell into the trap of, well, equal credit and everybody's the same, therefore A. None of these answers have anything to do with Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Yeah, sucks, doesn't it? Yep. Anyway. Next one. Oh, I didn't even see you had wrote why not A. I didn't even see that. But I assumed already because I know what we get tricked by. I know how it is. Remember we talked about CLUE, Comprehensive Loss Underwriting Exchange? Right? Right. And I told you that the question is going to be about insurance claims over the past 5 years against the property, right? And then there's one of the answers that talks about comprehensive loss insurance exchange. And you'll fall into the same trap of, well, equal credit, therefore equal credit. In that question, you'll see insurance, therefore insurance. No. And these answers, none of them have to do with discrimination. All right. Next, okay, Brian, you saw it. All right, cool. I'll check it out later. Any other questions? I thought there was more questions. Let me know if you have any other questions. All right, Tina. Try this one I just sent you now. Give it a try. All right, Ahmed, can you give me a quick example of a buy down? Okay. Hey, Ruth, what's up? I see you there. Cool. So can you give me a quick example of a buy down? Ahmed's asking. So in case you haven't noticed, I skipped that when we were in the real estate finance, right? It was there and I skipped it. State exam is not going to ask much, but it's like the points. You give points up front, right, to reduce rates, right? The buy down is we spread those points, so higher points, but we spread over a couple of years. So it could be 3, 2, 1. So 3 points up front, 2 points next, and then 1 point in the following year. It's a buy down of points. So if every year over the next 3 years you can put more money, right, then we'll give you a lesser rate. Pretty much that's what it is. Okay? The buy down is different points over several years. But again, not heavily tested. I just skipped it on purpose. All right. Any other questions? Still says private. No, don't do the $7. There's an option there to continue to free. It's right on top. It's very hidden. Click on it. And that's why you haven't been able to log in. Join for free. Don't pay anything. Sorry, I'm just giving enough time for everybody to join. I got 11 people, and I'm going to talk about investments. There's a lot of things to cover here. Right? All right, we got 3 people on YouTube. If you guys have questions, we're going to talk about real estate investments. But if you have questions regarding real estate finance, which is what we covered in the previous 2 days, if you have any questions you'd like me to address right now, let me know. Okay. Tina, were you able to do it? No? Okay, so you don't have to pay. Let me show you. Show you what it shows there. I'm going to show you right now. When you're in Quizlet, okay, right here, this is what it shows you, right? It says free 7-day, whatever. Okay, right there at top. They keep on changing this. They keep on changing this around, and they kind of hide the free option. Right there, all the way up top, it says continue to free Quizlet. You have to always look around the page. Used to be somewhere here, really tiny letters, somewhere right here in the middle. Now it's all the way up top. Continue to free Quizlet. Okay, I already pay for this for you. If you want to have the $3 a month or $4 a month, whatever, and have these options that they say here, that's totally up to you. But I already pay to have this access for you. Just click there. Continue to free Quizlet. You don't have to pay. Free Quizlet. Give it a try. And then you access my Quizlets. You sent me a screenshot. What do you see on? Okay, so you already created something, right? So you have a login. Can you tell me your login, Tina? What is your username there on Quizlet? Just send it to me separate. Sorry guys, whoever's on YouTube and the rest of you Zoomers, I'm here just troubleshooting something real quick. Tina, you're gonna owe me and the whole class a lot after this. Okay, I just sent you the invitation. See if you received it. Got it? Lula says that's not coming up. What's not coming up? Sorry, I didn't see that. Lula. Well, I'll send you the invitation. Tina, I'll send you the invitation on Quizlet directly, so give it a try there. Pretty Girl Swag on YouTube. Hi. How are you? Lula says I have a different page. Yeah, so Quizlet, like I said, they hide stuff. They're always changing and see where people. It's called A and B testing, and seeing which type of page attracts potential users more than others, right? But what I was saying is when you get to Quizlet, you need to sign up, right? And the continue to free Quizlet is always hitting somewhere there, hidden somewhere there. If you see my name, then you're good. Okay. What I was showing Tina is just for those that can't access Quizlet. That's what you have to do. Either send me your Quizlet user so I can add you, or you know, it's a matter of registering if you don't have it. Tina, you got it? Cool. All right. So now that that's out of the way, Tina's in for the Quizlet. Great. After 18 chapters, saying. A resource given on day one, but let's wait until the end. Don't worry about it. Anyway, but it's there. Cool. So give it a try and let me know if you have any questions. Your Quizlet is Steph Matos. I don't know if I'm giving you access to Quizlet for free like that. My Quizlet is. You guys go and put things like that on YouTube. I charge a lot of money for these things. All right, if you guys want any those on YouTube, if you ever want anything, you're not part of my class and you want to have resources, right? That's funny. If you have any resources, always go to asktherealestateinstructor.com. So www.asktherealestateinstructor.com, and you can pay the membership to have access. It's only like $15 to have access to Quizlets, testing, and all that good stuff. All right. So give it a try and then let me know. Reach out to me and I'll make sure that you have access to it. All right, next. We're going to talk about real estate investments. If there's no questions regarding real estate finance, we're moving forward. We're going to do 2 chapters today. The second chapter is very, very short. It's taxation. So we're going to focus on this, real estate investments right now. So real estate investments, we're going to talk about investment fundamentals. real estate as an investment, as a means of investment, real estate investment entities, which we're going to brush a little bit over it, not going to be too much in detail. Taxation of real estate investments, we're going to stop here a little bit. And then investment analysis for residence or income property, okay? So, starting with investment fundamentals. First question I have, and I like to ask questions, is what does this word mean? What is an investment? What is investment? Can everybody let me know? What is an investment? Investment. What's your idea of investment? What do you think it is? Let me know in the chat. YouTubers, let me know in the chat. Zoomers, let me know in the Zoom chat. Chat. Okay. So Denise says something you invest in to make money out of. Okay. Ahmed says investment of money to gain profit has an ROI or return on investment. Okay. What else? What is an investment, guys? Stephanie. So Pretty Girl Swag. Coolest nickname ever. On YouTube. Says investing money for profit. Okay. Joel says to put money in a certain product and gives profit back. Tina says investing in something for profit. Okay, cool. What else? Okay, this is where I was trying to get at. I was just waiting for this one. There's more to it, but right here. Plus doesn't always have to be money either. All right. So, okay, so Pretty Girl Swag says, you can call me Stephanie. LOL, I was 12 when I made this YouTube. Now that she's 13, she still has Pretty Girl Swag. All right, anyway, so Stephanie. No problem. But right here, let's talk about what Mr. Badr just wrote. Plus doesn't always have to be money either. So when we talk about investments, most people think, oh, I got to put money into it in order to make money. Okay. An investment could be money, time, or effort put into something and expecting some type of return, right? Let's take Tina's example right now. Tina's example. Tina is there struggling. She's putting two investments at the same time. One is in the class and the other one is being a mother, right? It's an investment. Hopefully, both of these investments will give you a return, right? Hopefully, when the kids grow up, they'll recognize all the effort that the parents did for them, right? And hopefully, as soon as she gets licensed, she's recognized by the hard work of putting these two things at the same time. So, it's not always money. Okay? It's not always money. It's money, time, or effort into something and expect some type of return. The return doesn't have to be money either. Some type of return. Now, my question is very simple. Very simple question. Do we always get a return? Tell me one investment that's 100% guaranteed. One investment. 100% guaranteed. One. You understand what I'm trying to say? There's no investment 100%. They can tell you whatever they want. There's no investment 100%. No way to lose. Guaranteed. None. Okay? Because there's too many variables for investments. In real estate, for instance, there's a real estate market, right? But there's always, I got you. I see what you did there. All right, cool. Loving your mom is a guaranteed investment, right? So I'll say yes for the most part, but I also know, just like some dads, Some moms really don't care. Just like some dads, some moms really don't care, right? There are single dads out there. You know what I'm saying? But yes, for the most part, absolutely, right? Absolutely, 100%. And my mom was my best friend, and I loved her, and I still do. You know, almost 10 years later, and I still, you know, love my mom. Guaranteed investment. She gave everything she had and some until today. Even wherever she might be, we don't know, but still gives. So yeah, loving your mom is a guaranteed investment. Love it. But again, there's a variable. What kind of mom do you have? What kind of son are you? Or daughter? Right? There's still a variable. See, you can love your parents, but if you're always destroying stuff, right? If you're always destroying stuff, loving is not enough. I had this debate not too long ago, and I know it was steering a little bit off, but it's talking about variables. Why investments? I had this argument not too long ago. How people say, "Oh, how come they don't understand? There's so much love involved. How come they don't understand? How come?" Well, loving someone or loving something does not determine the outcome. You understand? Loving or having passion for something is a stepping stone to get somewhere, right? Because if you don't love, then you don't care, right? But if you really love, then you care and take actions, right? Does it mean that the outcome is going to be the desired outcome? Not always. I love real estate. Love real estate, right? Is the outcome always what I want? No. I love teaching. Is the outcome always what I want? Unfortunately, no. What I want is a 100% pass rate. But what happens both in real estate, relationships, teaching, stock market, what happens is there's something called variables. And that variable is called risk. There's always a risk. Okay? In real estate, there's the risk that the market will drop. In stock market, there's the risk that the market will drop. In a relationship, we love each other for 30 years. But there's always the risk that one person changes their mind at the end of 30 years and boom, separate ways. You probably heard of these, where everybody celebrates every single year how long these people have been together for so many years. Another year going by, another year go by, and they still, how do they love each other so much? And then boom, all of a sudden, they're divorced at the age of 70, at the age of 80. It's right, it happens, right? Till death do us part. Not anymore. No. All right, I need to enjoy the rest of my life. So it was great until now, and like I died in this sense, I'm going to live in another, right? That's it, done. The biggest variable in everything is people, because look, real estate market depends on people. Stock market depends on people. You, as a realtor, depend on people. And the biggest variable of all of them, in any type of investment, you are the biggest risk to any investment. You are the biggest risk to any investment. Now, let me ask you something. There's different degrees of risk, right? And I stop here a lot before I move forward, because everybody needs to understand an investment is a risk. You paid X amount of dollars to be in this class. But if you're not studying, if you're not paying attention, if you're constantly everywhere but nowhere, what's going to be the outcome? Oh, but I love real estate. Great. If you're not paying attention, if you're not coming to class, if you see what I'm saying? Doesn't matter what you love, the outcome, you need to put in effort as well. Not just love, you need to put in effort. So there's degrees of risk. You can decrease the risk, and we'll talk about risk management in a different chapter, but you can decrease the risk by taking certain actions, right? You can lower the risk or decrease the risk by taking certain actions, right? So with that being said, there's 3 levels of risk. There's low risk, there's medium risk, and there's high risk investments. Low risk, medium risk, high risk investments. Usually I talk about a job, for instance, being a low risk investment. Why? Because 99% of the times, if you work, 2 weeks later you get paid. So it's almost guaranteed that if you put the time in, right, and you put the effort to work, you will get paid. So that's a low risk investment. And nobody can tell me otherwise. Nobody can tell me, oh, a job is not an investment. Yes, it is. Right? For IRS purposes, maybe not. It's an exchange, right? But it's still an investment somehow. You guys understand? Because you go there and you have to work. You have to put effort into it. You have to put time into it. And there's money you put into it because you have to drive there. You know what I'm saying? So it is an investment, but it's low risk. Because look, what's the worst going to happen? You either get fired or the company closes down. If these two do not happen, you have a secure job for a very long time, right? So the risk is you getting fired for not performing, or the company needs to lay off because of economy. Very low risk, okay? Medium risk. Real estate is medium to low risk. Relationships are medium risk, right? They're not low risk, they're medium risk because there's a variable, there's people, right? And then there's another, actually, we'll talk about that later. But let me ask you guys something. Real estate, medium to low risk because it's collateral, safe. A stock market is medium to high risk, right? Because it's very volatile, it goes up and down, right? Relationships, medium risk. Jobs, low risk, right? Let me ask you something. What about Mega Millions? Mega Millions. Today is Friday the 13th, right? Yay. Right? Friday the 13th. And we have the Mega Millions coming. I think 150 or 160 million. Right? All you used to need $1 in the dream. Now you need $2 in the dream, right? The dream is the same, but the dollar inflation, went up. So now it's $2 in the dream. My question now is this a low risk, medium risk, or high risk investment? Let me know in the chat real quick, in the YouTube or the Zoom chat. Is this low risk, medium risk, or high risk investment when you're investing in the Mega Millions or tomorrow for the Powerball? Okay, we're getting mixed answers here. Let's see. Stephanie, what's your answer? I see Ruth answer. She put high risk. Where's Stephanie? And there's 2 more people watching on YouTube, so give me your answers. Don't forget, this class does not count for your hours if you're watching on YouTube, right? But I'm still here to help, so join us. Watching on YouTube, not on Zoom. Okay, Kelly? Just saying. You're already licensed. What's up? Just messing with you. You can stay there. I'm just messing with you. All right, so Stephanie says, hi. Oh, wait, she changed her name. So, got to point this out. We're making progress today. Stephanie just went from Pretty Girl Swag to Stephanie, to her actual name. She changed her YouTube name. She gained grown-up status now, guys. That's it. Awesome. So Stephanie says, high risk. You guys say, let's see what we got. Survey says, low risk, high risk, low, high, and then low risk. The answer is, ready? High risk. It's a very high risk investment. See, there's 2 different things when it comes to investment. There's 2 different things. There's the cost and there's the return. And this is going to be very important for what we're going to talk about after. Because there's the cost and there's the return. See, $2 for gambling, is a low cost of entry. But the return is 0.000000001%. That's what makes it high risk, is the odds or the chances of you getting your money back and profit. And the chances are slim to none. Not many people get a return on their money. And if they do, I'll tell you, probably, I'm going to just put a random amount. Probably since the first time I started gambling, right? Because that's what the lottery is gambling. From the first time I started gambling, let's say over the years, right? Let's say we spent we don't even notice, but let's say we spent $200,000. $1 here, $1 there, $2, $5, $10. 200,000 over the years. If I got in returns, if I got, let's say, $5,000 over the years, that's too much. Do you think this is a good investment? I put 200 and I get $5,000 back. Do you think that's a good investment? You're negative $195,000 at this point. Is that a good investment? No. So that's what makes it high risk. There's two factors again. There's two factors. There's the cost of entry, and then there's a return. Like real estate, this course right here, let's say you spend $300. It's a low cost of entry to start a business because this is your business. But yes, then you have activation fee, then you, with the state, you have your fingerprint, you have your, let's say your MLS fees, you have the National Association fees, all that stuff. Let's say it's $1,000 altogether. Let's say it's $1,000. It's still a low cost of entry for you to start a business. And the return, it's not 0.0000001%. The return on that $1,000 could be 300, 400, 500%. You understand? There's only one variable here that would make it high risk, and that variable is you. Because if you don't do anything with your license, are you going to get your money back? No. All right? So today we were interviewing somebody, and that one of the things that he was saying, oh, all these fees and this and that, going to be a referral agent, right? All these fees. And I said, okay, let's say it's $1,000. You do one referral a year, it pays for your fees. One referral that closes, it pays for your fees and still gives you a return. Imagine if you do more than one referral. Imagine if you're active in the business. So it's a low cost of entry and medium to high return. So it's a great investment. Real estate, right? Anything that you do as independent is great. The difference now is, right? The difference now is what money did you put in and how much you get out. If you have to open up your own office, it's not $1,000. Right? We're looking at $100,000, $200,000 to start, right? Because you need to be ready for the next whole year of expenses, marketing, and all that stuff. So now it becomes a high cost of entry, right? And medium return, potentially high return, right? Depending on how you manage your business. Are you guys understanding this? All right, great. So very important you guys understand the difference between cost of entry and return. And we'll talk about that under basis because the cost of entry is basis, all right? So investment characteristics. That's part of what we're talking about right now. So the idea of investing is simple. You take something of value, remember, time, effort, money. Take something of value and you put it to work in some way to increase value over time. Now, with any investment, one wants the original investment to grow. You don't want it to go down like gambling, right? You want it to grow, but without losing it. The idea is called conservation of capital. Unfortunately, no investment is truly secure, and external conditions change and the investment itself can change. Even if you do nothing to it, its value does not remain constant. So there's again risk versus return. The general rule in an investment is that it's safer. The safer the investment, the more slowly it gains value. All right? So before I read anything else, the safer the investment, the more slowly it gains value. But also, the reward usually is higher because of that safety, right? There's not as much risk, there's not as much return. So the greater the risk, greater the return. The lower the risk, the lower the return usually. So why am I talking about this right now and how slow it goes? I'm a very conservative guy when it comes to investment. I'm not a stock market guy because I don't focus on it. I focus on real estate. I focus on business investments, right? That other things that we run here at the office, or my partner and I have separate from the office. But we look at what's medium to low risk investments. We're not high risk takers. There's people that are like, oh, you know what? Sure, let's throw money at it and see if it spits money back. All right, great. If you're that type of person, stock market is perfect for you. You understand? If you're not that type of person, if you're counting your money, or if you like things that don't give you a heart attack, then stock market is not for you. You understand? Right? I almost had a heart attack the other day when Bitcoin went down. Almost had a heart attack. Like, oh, there goes all my money. Right? Bitcoin just went back up. So as an example, it's not stock market, but it's to give you an example. With stocks, I did the same thing. So that's why I'm not too much into stocks. High risk. Real estate, as we talked in chapter 16 in appraisals, real estate, it's very slow to adjust to the changes in the market. So it's a safer investment because you can predict what's going to happen in the market, number one. And two, you have a collateral, right? You have something that secures your investment, which is the real estate, something that's yours, it's tangible. Where stock, you're kind of investing in other people's business and hope they do well, right? And you hope that they do well, okay? Right? I'll give you an example. Not political at all, but I'll give you an example. Pfizer announced vaccine. They announced vaccine, shot up in value, the stock, right? Pfizer CEO decides to dump stock the next day. And look what happened to the stock of Pfizer. It went back down. So what they do is they play with things. They do that fake hype. And people jump at it. Oh yeah, vaccine is coming, so it's a lot of money for me. Invest in the stock now. Right? And if you don't pay attention, you blink your eyes and you lose all your money. That's why I don't like stock market. If you're not one of those guys that or gals that's focused on the stock market and understanding those peaks and the way it could go up, it could go down. Like if you don't focus on that, don't jump. Don't do it. If you don't have a bunch of money laying around to say, hey, play with my money, to give to somebody that fully understands it, don't do it. That's what I can tell you. Real estate, everybody do it, please. Everybody. It's one of those things that it's a safe investment, okay? Where the risk is lower than the potential return, all right? Most millionaires, and I'm not saying you're going to be a millionaire, I hope you become one, but most millionaires were made through real estate. You understand? It was the safest investment. So the more you want to gain, the more quickly, the more you must risk losing it. So how much do you want to earn? And how much are you willing to risk to earn it? The reward in investing corresponds directly with the degree of risk. Sorry, just got a message. I'm loving YouTube today. I got a catch key. Catch key. So between Pretty Girl swag and now I got a catch. You seem like a nice catch. So Key, what's your name? So I can address you as you ask questions. All right. Next, management. So look, one of the things about investments is I was saying, if you don't know what you're doing in the particular type of investment, if you don't know what you're doing, then you need somebody else to manage for you. That comes the question also, should you do it or pay for somebody to make it work? Okay, so you can deposit cash into a passbook account and forget about it. You can use your cash to buy a business and then run the business yourself and make the asset grow. But how much do you want to be involved in managing your investment? Okay, so I'll tell you for now, Pedro and I, my partner and I, we're very involved in all aspects of the business right now. But the key is as we grow, we start delegating a few things. And so we get managers, right, for different levels, like for marketing, for investments, for employees, whatever. Somebody else to handle that, right? Because as you grow, you need to be able to make the business work for you versus you working the business. Does that make sense? Same thing as your investments. In the beginning, you buy a house, a single family, a two family, a four family, whatever. In the beginning, you might not have that much return where you can just pay somebody and say, hey, manage for me. No, in the beginning, you might have to answer those 2 o'clock in the morning calls. Oh, the toilet's not working, right? You might have to go there and fix the problem in the beginning. So that's one of the questions. How much do you want to be involved in your investment? Can you handle it, right? One of the problems, another problem with the real estate is liquidity. If you guys remember, we talk about liquidity also in appraisals, right? And that the liquidity, oh, your Quizlet is catch key. Okay, got it. Your Quizlet. Okay, which is also your, sorry, which is also your YouTube name. So do me a favor, go to, like I was saying, go to www.asktherealestateinstructor.com, right? And through there, you'll have access to everything. All right, so liquidity. So what does it mean to be liquidity? There's something called fluids and there's something called solids, right? So liquidity is something that's fluid, that's easy to manage, where something solid is not as easy to manage. So liquid means I can take my money out of the account ASAP, and that's one of the benefits of stock. If the market is going down and you catch it early enough, you can cash out. You can sell the stock right away and cash out whatever you have. It's immediate. With real estate, you might take 2 to 3 months unless you take a huge loss in order to get the cash right away. So the issue of exchangeability, right, is an important one in investments. How easy is it for you to recover your invested resource without loss, okay, and exchange it for the one you want? Now, if there is a market for the type of resource you have and other people want to buy it and sell it themselves, your investment is liquid, easily tradable, right on the spot. Like I said, stock, you can sell it right away. The market's always there. The most liquid form of financial investment is generally cash, since cash itself is a medium of exchange and people always want it. A more illiquid investment is one in which it takes a long time to exchange for something you prefer to own. So how long, this is the next question for real estate investments. How long are you willing to wait to recover your invested resource and its earnings, right? How long and how much do you want as well? I had asked that question to somebody yesterday, right? It was a buy, fix, and flip, but COVID came through, pandemic came through, and the flipping side of it stalled. So I asked that question yesterday. Well, how much money are you looking for? Market went down a little bit in this area, in the area where the property is located. You're not going to get as much return. So how much are you looking to get out of it? Right? And the answer was, at this point, I don't care. I just want my money back, and if something comes extra, great. I'm like, awesome, because that was not the conversation we had before the pandemic. People are going to flips thinking they're going to make $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 in every single flip, right? Not always the case, right? The average flip is $60,000. The average flip, average. That means there are some where you're going to make $20,000, and there's some where you're going to make $100,000. You understand? The average flip is $60,000, but you still need to put in the work and getting more deals involved so you can make more money. So that was my question. How long are you willing to wait? You want to make your 100K? Then we need to wait. What I told the person was rent, refi, cash out, right? And let the rental pay for that loan. This way you have money available. It's liquid, right? So that's the alternative while you wait for the market to go back up in the next couple of years, and you'll be able to sell at that point for the price you want. Meanwhile, you cashed out, money's in your hand, and you can go invest in other properties if you want in hotter markets. You guys understand? That's a strategy. If you guys ever do investments, that's a strategy that's like a safety net. It's called the BRRRR strategy. Is you buy, you rent. Buy, rehab, rent, and then you refinance, and the final R is repeat. So go buy again, so on. So that's the BRRRR strategy. In the simplest form, simplest explanation. It's not that hard to do. But what are you willing to do? That's the question. All right. Now, the basic aim of financial investment is to increase one's wealth and to add value to what you have. That's the basic aim of or goal of a financial investment. I got X amount of dollars, but I want to double, triple, quadruple my money over the next few years. Most people think they're going to quadruple their money in 1 year. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Everything is doable. It depends on what you're willing to go through and how do you assess properties or investments. Okay. Next, we have income. So these are the rewards that we're talking about. One of the rewards, the biggest reward actually, of real estate is substitution of income. Okay. Here it says income. To me, is substitution of income. All right. And I'll tell you how I make my math when it comes to income. Before I go over this. So income. Let's think about your wages. This chapter is just a brief overview of what an investment course would actually be. So let's look at wages. You make X amount of dollars, right? The object or the goal of an investment, right, is that your rental becomes X amount of dollars. Notice that I did not put Y, I put X. What does that mean? It means that your rental eventually must reach a point, your rentals must reach a point where you're no longer depending on your wages. I'm not telling you you're going to quit your job, but what I'm telling you is that the biggest reward of investment in real estate is that you get enough income where if you want to stop working, you can stop working. That's the biggest reward of real estate investing. Okay? Most people, flippers, right? Most flippers, because there's a difference between earning money on the sale and having income. It's two separate things. They're both income, but here we're talking about cash flow, right? Where when you flip property, you get immediate return on the sale. It's not something that comes over time. So you have to do a bunch of sales. You have to do a bunch of buys, fix, and flips in order to compensate for your income. A rental income is something that's steady over time. Where you reach that point, okay, I make $5,000 a month. Now I'm making roughly $5,000 in rentals. I can choose to keep working or I can quit my job because my rental substituted my actual income. Okay. My thought pattern in this is you only quit. Let me correct this. You only quit when you have at least 2x. At least 2x. You only quit when you have at least 2x. Right? And the problem with the 2x for me, I said at least because you should have more. The problem with the 2x is that most people, and this is also something we talk about when I'm doing a financial analysis for people preparing for retirement, right? And by the way, preparing for retirement is not when you're 60. Preparing for retirement is at any time. You could be 20 and talking about, hey, I want to prepare now for my retirement, right? But when we talk about to somebody about preparing for retirement, right? This is the way it's divided. Okay. Let's say you make, as an example, this is going to be a rough draft. As an example, you make $1,000 a month. 50% of it is your expenses. Like immediate expenses, like housing expense and all that stuff. I know $1,000 is very low, just an example, right? And then let's say you have your credit card. So this is debt, right? And let's make it 25% for now, right? And then you have pleasure, right? You have pleasure. That's your other expenses, as an example. Let's say 25%. And pleasure is like dinners, going out with the family to the movies, clothes, all that stuff. Like let's say I want to have that Louis Vuitton bag, ladies, right? I want to have that Louis Vuitton bag. You know, it's me, whatever, right? Not with $1,000 a month, you're not going to get it. But here's the biggest difference. Ready? You want to know what happens between $1,000 and the next tier? You want to know what's the difference now that you're making $1,000? The difference is absolutely none. See, you're making $1,000. You're making $10,000 now, so 10 times where you were. But now you got a bigger house. You got a bigger car, right? You have more pleasure because now vacation all the time, right? Now you spend on the stuff that's more expensive because now you can afford to go to those restaurants that are more expensive as well. So what's the difference between making $1,000 and making $10,000? If you don't budget properly, absolutely nothing. You understand? But if you kept the same mentality as when you were making $1,000, let's change this. Ahmed says $9,000 in expenses. But if you kept the same mentality, then these things would change a little bit. What if we cut a few things here? Right? And $1,000, obviously, guys, I know if it was $1,000, then you were not living in the proper conditions. Obviously, this is just an example, okay? But let's say 50% of your expenses on $1,000 was your housing expense. Well, if you make $10,000, now that's now 25%. Let's just say. Let's say you increase a little bit. Instead of paying $500 a month, now you're paying $2,500 a month. But it is a little bit better, right? But if you don't increase too much of your credit card debt, and it's just, again, it's just a stupid example. Let's say you have the same debt, 25%, right? Let's say you keep the same mentality and only 25% of your income. So this is debts, and 25% of your income goes to pleasure, right? So going out to dinner, going out to the movies, whatever, right? And I know, look at this. I know the numbers are off, but I just want to write more stuff here. What if you take this final 25%, the key 25%, and you invest? Okay? Just an example, right? You kept the same lifestyle or similar lifestyle in your, whether you're $1,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, you keep the same lifestyle. You don't need that Mercedes right now. You can still drive the Toyota, okay? Credit cards, you don't need to spend more on credit cards. You need to pay them off and have the least amount of expense. You can still go have fun, but focus 25% at least, 25% of your income on investments. And eventually, again, eventually, you can use your investment to piggyback and buy more and more and more real estate. So again, the benefits of real estate is to have enough income, right? But if you don't know how to manage this cash flow, this income that comes in a product way, if you don't know how to manage, you'll always be a bad investment, okay? The other side of it is appreciation. When you buy something, whether you use that 25% for a rental income, right, or appreciation income, there's a difference between the two. Whether you use for one or the other, the concept is the same. Appreciation is return on your money, immediate return on your money on the sale, right? So, I'm sorry, later return on your money at the time of sale. So, it is conceivable that a property that you bought for 100K eventually will increase value and be worth 150K, right? Maybe it will increase value and be worth 300K, and so on. Over the years, it appreciates or increases in value. So there's two types of incomes. Again, income, direct income, which is that rental income, and then there's the appreciation income, which is this value right here, goes up. Okay, two types of income. And there's a third type of income, which is by means of tax deduction. It's called depreciation. We'll talk about it in a second. Okay? Income, appreciation. Now, leverage. What is leverage? Leverage is where you use something small in order to move something big, right? Use something small in order to move something big. So if you have, let me erase this here. If you have $10,000, right? That's what you have cash or in your bank, whatever. You have $10,000, but the property is worth $100,000. Can you, with $10,000, buy something that's $100,000? If you qualify for a mortgage, then you are leveraging, right? You are leveraging your $10,000 to get the $100,000. Leverage is you put a small amount in order to move something bigger. Leverage, okay? With that being said, let me change my question to something else. You have $100,000. You have $100,000. Now that you know what leverage is, you have $100,000. Would you buy this property for $100,000? And if so, would you pay cash or what would you do? YouTubers, go ahead. Would you pay cash or what would you do? YouTubers, let me know what you got. Zoom. Joel says loan. Edward says loan. Arlene says nope. Mr. Badur says I would get an equitable title and flip that bad boy. All right. Lewis says get a loan, remodel, and sell for profit. You guys are assuming this is a rehab. I never said it was a rehab. I'm just talking about purchasing a house for $100,000. In some parts of the country and even some parts of New Jersey, you can buy a full ready-to-go property, right? A turnkey property for $100,000. Might not be the mansion that you expect, but you can buy for $100,000. So you're assuming, both Ahmed and Dula, you're assuming the remodel part. I get it. Okay. So here's the thing. You guys already did the real estate financing portion. So the traditional or conventional loan usually requires 20% down payment. If you have $100,000 cash, right? My question to you is, you have $100,000 cash. How many of these houses can you buy? The answer is 5. Like, how can you buy 5? Because the required down payment is 20% for conventional. 20%. If you have $100,000 cash, 20% of that is $20,000. How many $20,000 do we have in 100? 5. So we can put $20,000 as a down payment in 5 houses. So with the same $100,000, would you buy the property cash? No. You would leverage the bank's money with your money. You would leverage the difference, the 80%, the 90%, whatever it is. You would leverage in order to buy more properties. Use debt for profit. Exactly. So a lot of people think, oh, debt is bad. No. Debt is not bad. Debt is great. There's good debt and think about cholesterol. There's good cholesterol, there's bad cholesterol. Hopefully, you're on the right side and you have good debt. Highly leveraged debt. Okay? Like the bank does with your money. Listen, I did say, become the bank. If you want to be wealthy, become the bank. Learn how to play their tricks. Okay? And the good thing is that real estate gives you a higher return than your savings account. Say, over the years, the average return between depreciation, right, and rental income, the average return is at least 8% over the years. At least 8%. So, savings account, the best savings is real estate. Right? The second best savings together with it is life insurance. Some types of life insurance, not all of them. Just saying. Lula says, I'm still in awe over the savings account. Yeah. By the way, Lula, at the end of the year, you still got to pay taxes on that money. So not only do you get almost nothing, right? There's three different types of investment products, and we're getting to a whole different class here. There's three different types of investment products. Very simple. There's the tax now products. There's the tax later products, and there's a tax never products. You know where savings account fall? Tax now. Because it's money earned this year that's immediately accessible. Therefore, you pay taxes now on the money that you gained this year. Tax now. Your 401ks and your IRAs usually are in the tax later. Because you don't take money out. You don't cash out. And then there's a special kind, which is under Section 7702 of the Internal Revenue Code, which allows you to not pay taxes. Okay, so Roth IRAs and some types of life insurance, for instance. All right, so there's those three different types of product. Anyway, moving forward. Totally different type of class. It is part of investments, so it's great to know. Okay. Joel, I'll tell you one of these days. We can sit down and go over it. You can bring Ed and we'll bring Kelly and bring everybody, and hopefully Kelly switches. All right, next. You know what? Ed, just to let you know, your sister-in-law should know this stuff about the right here, because she's licensed. So she should know this stuff. She's licensed for insurance. Just saying. But I could teach her more. Just saying. In the real estate class, I cannot recruit for real estate, but I can recruit for insurance. Just saying. Ed, I told you. I already told Kelly the same thing. I'm gonna steal you from her. Not in that sense, work-wise. Okay. All right. So leverage, we got it. Tax benefits is the other way to make money. Tax deductions. Okay. So there's something called, and we're gonna go over this. There's something called depreciation. Right. So depreciation is the loss of value, right? We talked about this in the previous chapter as well. It's the loss of value because things eventually need to be replaced. So because the IRS understands that your investment is a solid investment, but you're going to have to spend money in maintenance over time, the IRS allows you to depreciate for maintenance, just like your car. Your car loses value as soon as you start driving. Why? Because now there's wear and tear. It loses value. It's not worth the same. So IRS says for real estate investments, not for your home, but for real estate investments, you might be able to reduce or defer some of the amount, some of tax owed. We're going to go over all this in a little bit. Okay, so these are the rewards. And then we have risks. The risk is market risk. We already talked about this. Market risk, market could change. Business risk depends on how your investment was made. Purchasing power, right? We talked about this when we talk about the loss of value over time of the same $100 over time, right? If it's in your savings account or if it's under your mattress, it loses value over time, right? Money is not worth the same over time, okay? Also, the ability to get financing, right? The ability to get financing changes over time. We said this all yesterday, right? Ability of obtaining financing changes over time. All right. Types of investments, we already kind of covered this. We talked about money investments, where you put money into it. Debt investments, we just talked about also about good debt, right? Which is you get a mortgage, you leverage, and you're able to reduce the risk by not putting all your money into it. Equity investments, like stock, for instance, it's equity, right? Because you don't have anything physical, you don't have title to it, just equity, stocks, bonds, and so on. And then the cool thing, real estate investments. So again, we already covered all of this. Real estate investment, right? The biggest investment you have in real estate is its utility, because people need it, right? It's one of those investments, like I said, it's safe for a reason. Everybody needs to live somewhere. They're either buying or they're renting. But everybody needs to live somewhere. There's utility. Okay? Very, very important. There's a couple of type of property, two type of properties you can buy, which is the non-income, and that's like your single family where you live. It's non-income, and it's used only for appreciation. I already covered that, right? And you have income property, which benefits from rental income and appreciation. So it has both involved in income property. Okay? Okay, so the rewards come from any of all the forms I mentioned earlier, so income and appreciation, but also leverage and tax advantages. Did you guys notice that there's little to no reward with a non-income property? Right? Look at all the benefits that come with income property. Income, appreciation, leverage, tax advantages. Leverage, why? Because if I have equity, I can take a home equity loan, or I can take a home equity line of credit, and I can leverage that to buy more properties. Leverage how? Leverage because there's income, and I don't depend on my job so much. So leverage the income from the property for my lifestyle, and so on. It allows me to have more freedom. Leverage the rental income to have more freedom in my life. Okay? The cool thing is that if you get sick, the income still comes through. Not like a job. You get sick or you're staying home, yeah, day off. Okay? If you stay home too many days, sorry, you don't have any more PTOs, so paid time off is done. All right? Sucks. Rental income, you don't have that issue. The income comes regardless of being sick. If you're staying at home, you're going to work, it still comes through. All right? What about commercial? Well, it says right here, commercial, yeah, retail stores, industrial, office buildings. These are all under income property. Okay? The non-income property is residential, single family, because that's the primary residence. Okay? And that's why, if you guys see in the student portal, okay, in the student portal, that's why I have this here. Several books, suggestions of books in the student portal right away. Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of them. There's so many books here, mainly for you. Growth. There's a 10X right here by Grant Cardone. If you guys know who Grant Cardone is, he talks about putting extra effort into everything. If you're going to do this, do it right. Don't half-ass it. Do it full steam ahead. Right? 10X. Do more, 10 times more than your competition is doing. And it's easy. There's no way to lose there. All right? That's why I'm always praising Ed's wife. She just started recently in real estate, and she's doing more than seasoned, experienced realtors. She's really hustling, and the results are there. Right? That's why I always praise her work. It's exactly that. Or Mario that works with us, or Mac that works with us. There's a few of the people here at our office also, at the real estate office, that they're killing it. They're really going at it. They're hungry. They're 10Xing everything while the competition is sleeping on it. Makes a huge difference. And what kind of person you're going to be depends on whether you're 10X it or not. Okay? By the way, these are in order. There's a particular order to this that if you guys ever go through the library here, there's a particular order to this. I habits and all that stuff. Anyway, crushing it mainly for influencers, social media, and so on. What I wanted to talk about here is a 10x guy, Grant Cardone. Right here. The 10x guy, Grant Cardone. One of the things that he talks about is that home ownership is a scam. Okay? And I think if you guys understood what I just said here, of the benefits of having a being a homeowner and the benefit of having an income property, right? Then you'll understand why homeownership is a scam. Because a homeownership, first of all, the only tax benefit you have, you can declare the only deduction you can declare is the financing. You cannot declare repairs, right? To leverage it is very difficult, and it's an expense. You cannot use income in order to prove that you have enough to buy another house. It's expense, expense, expense. In fact, it holds you down. When they're looking at, oh, you're paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for that house, and your income is $10,000, how do you expect to buy another property? Right? $4,000 is just for the mortgage. What about your car? What about your insurance? What about your other debts? How do you expect to buy another property? Right? So there's not many advantages to being a single homeowner. The only advantage to me to be a single homeowner is the peace of mind. I don't have to deal with other people. But when you lose your job, it's a huge headache. And if you have to do repairs at the time that you lost your job, right? It's a bigger headache. So income property, usually the best investment ever. Okay? Cardone buys 300 units at a time. Now he does. And because he has a program very similar to something that we created, he has a program where it's almost like crowdfunding. You don't have to know about real estate. We'll invest your money in real estate, right? Or you can learn about real estate while investing your money, or invest and learn and earn at the same time. So anyway, that's what he does. He can only buy 300 units at a time because he's leveraging other people's money instead of his. He became a fund and property manager. That's what it is. But anyway, he was highly criticized when he said, "Don't buy a house." It was highly criticized. Oh, buying a house is a scam. Don't ever buy a house. It was highly criticized by everybody. Like, what do you mean? Simple. Again, right here. It's clear of why your investments should always be multi-income properties. Okay? Nothing wrong for those that already bought the single family. It's okay. There's still ways to do this. All right, next. All right, real estate as an investment. Risk and reward, illiquidity, management requirements. We already covered everything that's going to come here in this section. We already covered it all. The risks is the lack of liquidity and the amount of management. That's pretty much it. You're going to need to manage the property. You're going to need to deal with all the headaches. And you might not be able to draw money as quick as you'd like. That's one of the disadvantages of real estate. Sorry guys, I have to switch to this so I can address it, because I can never stay quiet with comments like this. Were you ever a tenant? Yeah. You were? Did you ever stop paying? Be honest. It's okay. I'm not going to shame you here on the national YouTube TV. All right, do me a favor, guys. Raise your hand and be honest. I mean, life happens. Life happens. Okay, I stopped paying the rent years ago when I unfortunately life happened. Right. But raise your hand if you ever stopped paying the rent. Anybody? One person? Everybody else is a liar? One person, two people. Okay, got it. Two people stop paying the rent. You said due to repairs. Okay. Right. So two people stop paying the rent. That means right now, less than 20%. Less than Marina? Less than 20% of less than 20% of the people here, right? Stop paying the rent. So Tina, that's your risk right there. Well, let me ask you, if you lose your job, how are you paying for your house? It's a 50-50 chance now, because either your spouse needs to pick up the slack if he or she can, right? Or if you have nothing, you lose the house, one or the other. Hold on. My dad had a tenant who did him so dirty they lost $10,000, and court did nothing to help my dad. Instead, they kept giving the tenant more and more time to live there. He hasn't paid the rent in months and got away. Got it. That's your 20% risk right there. 20%. You want to put more numbers? You want to get more tenants? Mr. Badur, how many tenants do you have? You have one tenant. How many times did he stop paying? 0 times. How long has he been a tenant with you? 5 months or 5 years? 5 years? Okay, 5 years. Never stop paying. Not bad. Anybody else a landlord here? Raise your hand if anybody else is a landlord. Okay, Ed. Did you ever had an issue with a tenant? You did? How much did you lose? How long were they stop paying? Now I'm going to give you guys my numbers. 10. There's always a risk. Everything. Remember we started this? How we started this chapter? Risk. Ed says 3 months only. Okay, well, 3 months only. 3 months only. That's a personal question. 3 months only. Ed represents a lot of things. 3 months for some people could be $30,000 if it's a $10,000 a month rental. 3 months only could be $6,000, or 3 months only could be the $10,000 of Tina's dad, right? So it could be. Now, here's another question. Ed, are you talking about now, or this is in the past? Is it during the pandemic or before? Because if it's during the pandemic, it does not count. A lot of people got screwed because of the pandemic. But there's programs out there to assist you during the pandemic, for the landlord and for the tenant. Gotcha. I'll talk about this in a second. So it was prior to pandemic. Okay. So 3 months. Did you evict? Or they catch up? Did you evicted? You got them out. Okay, great. If you don't mind me asking, how much did you lose? More or less. $3,600. Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but cool. Okay, Tina, $10,000. How long was this person there without paying? Plus what the damages, whatever. That was 2 years ago. Got it. It was 5 months. $2,000 a month. Got it. Plus damages. Great. So it took 5 months to get rid of this person. Is there a new tenant there, or your dad doesn't have the house anymore? There's a new tenant. New tenant is the sister? Oh, sorry to hear that. My condolences. But sorry, just going back to the subject. So after after those 5 months, you guys rented to somebody else right now? Not at all. Okay, cool. So unfortunately, there is always somebody that will do something in one of the properties. It could happen. Okay. Over the years, this is doesn't. Okay, cool. So over the years, I've had situations where people don't pay. I've had situations. My very first tenant, and was the reason why I almost quit real estate. My very first tenant. 9 months without paying. Lived there for a whole year and almost 9 months without paying. I almost quit real estate. Right? By the way, first tenant, it was a 2-family. So one unit was rented, the other one was empty. Okay? And the other property, because I bought 2 properties at the same time. And the other property, right, was what do you call it? The other property was fully vacant. So I had pretty much 4 units, only 1 rented at the time, and that one that was rented was empty. It was empty in terms of income for at least 9 months, and I'm paying $3,000 each property every month for almost a year. You understand? So I almost quit real estate. This doesn't work. Not for me. I'm losing so much money. Whatever. Okay. And this is pre-market crash. So pre-market crash. So things were getting better and better and better. Then market crash. So there's always going to be a risk. My most recent headache was a property here in South Newark on the 3rd floor. I'm sorry, on the 2nd floor. It was 3 bedrooms. We rented to somebody that we trusted, right? My business partner at the time, and I. We rented to somebody that we trusted, and he says, "No, we got people from church, and we're gonna rent rooms to people from church and whatever." I'm like, okay, no problem. Not even 1 month of rent. $20,000 later. $20,000 between non-payment of rent, eviction, and destruction of the property. $20,000 later. Okay? There is risk. Nothing, we started this chapter with that. There is risk. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. But the reward, okay? If you do things right, look, they destroy the property. You know what that's called? Vandalism. You know what you do when there's vandalism, claims of vandalism? There's insurance. Most homeowners do not know. They're entitled to apply for insurance. There's a vandalism claim, apply for insurance, and insurance will cover the damages. Simple as that. There's risk, and everything that has risk, that's why we get insurance. We assign risk. Look, you drive every day, right? You get in the car and you drive, there's a huge risk. There's a risk of you not paying attention. There's a risk of your person next to you not paying attention. And you get into an accident. There's a risk. What do we do to reduce the risk? Insurance. You get it? It's just that most people don't know about home ownership. Most people don't know about investments. And they don't know that there's these tools out there for you to reduce the risk on your investment. Simple. If I were to count the amount of money I lost, I would have gone crazy. Right? I had another property also. We bought it in the foreclosure, and to get these people out was like almost 9 months as well to get all the tenants out of the property, the previous tenants. Property destroyed. Like if I showed you, the property looked great from outside, it's brand new. If I show you the inside and I still have those pictures, if I show you the inside of that property, you'd be like, oh my God, how do these people live? Okay? So there's always risk. But the reward, very high reward. Okay? All right. Ruth says, oh my God. Yep. All right. Marini law. Oh, okay. When you wrote marine, I was like, gotcha. I see what you're saying now. Well, we'll talk about that in property management. Any evictions, constructive eviction, all that stuff. The property has to be in habitable conditions. If there's issues with the property, it must be repaired. So state of New Jersey is one of those states where it allows you to repair and deduct or withhold rent. All right, but we'll talk about all that stuff in a different chapter. All right, the point was, and I know Some of you are scared about being investors and all that stuff. I get it. About being landlords. I get it. But if you do things right with the property counseling, right? Real estate is still one of the best things you can get your money into. All right, next. Risk and reward. We were just talking about this. Risk and rewards. Illiquidity. We talked about it already. Let's go to real estate investment entities. We are on page 276. All right, I just need to address something real quick. Almost an emergency. All right, there's 5 people watching on YouTube. If you guys have questions, drop them now. We are in investments. And now we're going to talk about real estate investment entities. So there's direct investment, there's syndicates and partnerships, real estate investment trusts, also known as REITs, R-E-I-T, and then real estate mortgage investment conduit, or REMICs. For real estate, REMICs are really not addressed that much. So once we get there, I'll just brush right through. But direct investments is very simple. Individuals can, and other corporations and other entities may invest as active investors, right? By buying the property directly and taking responsibility for managing the property. We cover this. It's up to you. Do you want to buy the property, invest in the property, and so on, and manage the property? You can. Or you can syndicate. That's one option. You can syndicate. And a syndicate is a group of investors combine resources to buy, develop, and operate a property. Okay, and you guys, realtors or brokerage, can be the syndicators. So you can pretty much group of people, right, and help them buy. So you might need special types of licenses. We'll talk about that later. Special types of licenses when it's a syndicate, right? But different forms of syndicate would be a partnership, limited partnership, for instance. Is that a great risk or gain? Depends. It depends. Let me go over the risks and potential of these different structures. So one of them is right here, general partnership. You guys, we already talked about general partnerships before in a different chapter, right? But a general partnership is a syndicate in which all members participate equally. So general partnership, everybody participated equally in managing the investment and in the profits that or losses it generates. So the group designates a trustee to hold title in the name of the syndicate. In this type of investment, it's a great risk, okay? Because everybody is equally responsible. What does that mean? It means that if we make $1 million, we are all happy. But if we get sued for $1 million and only one of us has enough money to cover the damages, then that one person needs to cover the damages and collect from everybody else whenever possible. All right? That's the great risk of general partnerships. In limited partnerships, there's at least one general partner that organizes and operates the business, right? But then the limited partners, they just put money. That's all they do. They put money. Limited partners are passive investors. Passive investors. Okay. So you're asking me if that's a great risk or gain, right? First thing is, depends on the structure you have, and we're just in partnership. There's more, right? We already covered all those like corporations, LLCs, and so on. So the general partnership is the highest risk that you can get. Limited partnership, there's one general partner that's responsible for everybody, and the limited partners are passive investors. They're silent, so they only lose whatever they invested. The advantage of a syndicate, very simple. I want to buy right now, my goal, right? I want to buy 100-unit apartment building. Who'd like to buy a 100-unit apartment building? Raise your hand. Great. Keep your hand up if you got the money to buy it right now. Keep it up if you got the money to buy it right now. Why you guys drop your hand? Nobody has the money to buy this? Oh, it's only 10 million. You guys don't have 10 million? No? What kind of investors are you? Well, here's the good news. Maybe if we pool our resources together, something that I could not purchase by myself, we can now all purchase. That's a syndicate. Okay, it's pooling resources. So Lula, you want to know what the gain is? You want to know what the gain is? Is being able to invest in something like this by joining forces. That's the gain, right? And maybe this will give us the return, a favorable return where everybody wins. That's the gain. Where's the risk? The risk is how we structure our investments. Okay, that's the risk. Stephanie says, one day I'll have 10 million. Well, that's the spirit. But until then, between all of us, we can have 10 million. Hey, remember, I need 10 million to buy, but if all of us participate, maybe all of us have 1 million. Right? And let's say 10% is all we need to buy this, 10%. We're now doing what's called, remember, leverage. We're going to leverage our resources, our creditworthiness, right? Our income, and our money in the bank. Pull our resources together and buy the 10 million. Same thing as a house. And by the way, it's a lot easier to buy something that's 10 million than to buy something that's 100,000. They ask way more questions for 100,000 because, like, where's the return for me, says the bank, than 10 million where, hey, if you don't pay, we got 100 units. It's a different ball game, totally different ball game. A few years back, I used to broker hedge funds deals. So anybody that wanted the investment for big investments like this, right? They wanted money for those investments. I would help them get the money from hedge funds, right? So I'm telling you, the higher the amount, the easier it was to get approved. Totally different ball game because it's secured by 100 units, not secured by a single family, right? There's greater risk in single family. Look, the New York market did not drop as much, right? Talking about 100 units, did not drop as much as the residential market here in New Jersey, for instance, during the crisis. Did not drop as much. So it's a higher security. Hey, Stacy, how are you? All right, you guys understand? So syndicates leverage the resources that everybody has. Okay. Now another form of investment is real estate investment trust or REITs, right? And this could be where 100 people pool their resources together. Again, pool their resources together. And for it to be considered a REIT, then it must receive at least 75% of income must come from real estate to qualify for a REIT. Right? So there's 100 investors. It doesn't say here, but you need at least 100 investors to qualify for a REIT. and at least 75% of the income must come from real estate. The advantage of a REIT, right, is that we don't pay corporate income tax. It's a pass-through entity. It goes straight to us as individuals, if anything. Okay? That's one of the advantages. Mutual funds, that's what it is. Stacey, I'm doing great. Amazing. It's Friday the 13th. Get better. Stacey just said, how are you? So, do investors use REIT model to buy hotels, to buy anything? If you ever heard of, for instance, Avalon luxury communities, Av luxury communities. Now we have one that's becoming very big is the Vermella luxury communities, right? Apartment communities. Most of these are REITs. Could be for anything. A REIT could invest in anything. It just has to be real estate. Okay, so a REIT can get anything. Weehawken, they're everywhere. Not just Weehawken, but they're everywhere. Stephanie says there's one by my house, Avalon Apartments in Wharton. There you go. That's it, everybody. I'm just gonna mess with Stephanie. So she lives in Wharton, New Jersey. We're getting better and better. So pretty girl swag from Wharton, New Jersey. Go ahead, Stephanie. Give us more. Give us more. I'm sorry. This is how I treat my students. I'm always picking on somebody. Always. So get used to it. I said earlier, I'm new here. So, hey, welcome to your first day. Friday the 13th and getting picked on right away. All right, next. Remic, like I said, it's not heavily tested, but you're investing in mortgage pools of mortgages in the secondary market. That's what it is. You're investing in mortgages secured by real estate. That's why it's called a real estate mortgage investment conduit. You are very welcome. As sarcastic as I am. Love it. She says, thank you. Wonderful way to start my first session here with you. All right. 202. All right, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go into a quick break. So we'll leave real estate taxes for tomorrow with tomorrow's chapter. We're going to go into a quick break because here I'm going to need your full attention. There's a lot of info coming up. I'll leave this for the second half. There's going to be a lot of math involved. There's no... once we get to the math chapter, I'll go more in detail, right? But the concepts here you need to understand, so then when we get to the math chapter, I don't have to re-explain in detail, okay? So for you guys watching on YouTube, there's 6 people watching right now live. For you guys watching on YouTube, I'm going to end this session. I'm going to start a new one in a little bit. It is now 7:28 p.m. So guys, we're going to be back at 7:40. So you got 12 minutes to enjoy the break, and make sure you come fully energized to pay attention to this, because it's the most boring part of this chapter. Okay? And I'm going to try to make it as excitable as possible. All right, so I'll be back 7:40. Thank you, guys.